Welcome to Rubber Chicken with a podcast in the middle, the internet's only Monkey Island devoted podcast.
And best.
And brightest.
And piratiest.
I'm Alistair.
I'm still Gordon.
And today we're going to not talk about what we said we were going to talk about because we want to take a break from doing parts of the third, fourth, and fifth Monkey Island games. Yeah, we're going to take a break from talking about Monkey Island. Instead, we don't want to talk about real Monkey Island. We're going to talk about our terrible ideas for if we made Monkey Island game.
Fake Monkey Island. No, it should be a bit of fun. And if you've got any ideas for a Monkey Island game you'd like to make, put them below.
In the comments. Like, subscribe, ring the bell.
Ring the bell. Share us on Facebook,
Twitter and Instagram.
YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Bebo.
Yeah. Put in your
TikTok.
dating app profile that you listen.
Yeah, Alistair, I'll hit you up.
I'll find you.
I'll find you.
But before,
let's do the news.
Let's talk about Monkey Island Monday.
So I had a brief discussion with a guy on Twitter who follows us, Aussie, and we said that we should call it Two Throat Tuesday. Yep. Yes, and we also said that 3 Point Thursday should be a thing, but I haven't got any content for that. So yes, Two Throat Tuesday here in Australia is Monkey Monday.
And this week it was, contrary to my expectations, I thought Ron must have been joking when he said there'd be a big voice reveal, but it was actually a reveal of the voice of LeChuck.
And who would have thought that he was voiced by Alan Rickman, the late great Alan Rickman? No, not really.
LeChuck
who is it?
Being voiced by Jess Harnell, who voices, from going by his IMDb, has done voice acting in practically every children's cartoon that's been made for the last 30 years.
Bluey? Has he been in Bluey?
Well, he's an American actor, so I don't think so. But not that I saw. But he actually has history with voice acting in Monkey Island. In Escape from Monkey Island, he voices the Halua Bar chef and the hippie judge.
My painting, she is a ruin.
Yeah, and also voices Esteban. Take these papers down to the city hall and save my mansion. And reprised sort of Esteban, or indeed Estevan, in
this is weird.
Secret Special Edition.
Somebody got that wrong.
Yeah, along with voicing one of the pirate leaders, I think the Malay Island shopkeeper, Bill Fettuccini, a bunch of random secondary characters like that, and is now voicing LeChuck.
Right. Do you think Esteban and Estevan, someone thought they were the same character? Oh, it
yes.
must be the same character. Yeah. Has this been addressed online before in any forum? I'm sure it has.
It's been addressed by us in this podcast.
Yep.
Before.
You heard it here. You heard it here. Not necessarily first.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, so we've got the bit of LeChuck footage on the
ghost ship
deck of his ship.
Yep, and he's chewing out his crew, asking them why they haven't prepared his mystical voodoo potion.
Yeah, the crew's made up of all different looking things. There's a zombie and a demon looking thing. There's what could be Bob hanging upside down. We don't know, like a skeleton guy.
Yeah, someone tweeted, "Is this Bob?" and Dave Grossman gave a ambiguous answer. So it could be Bob. Would be
also
fun.
Bob,
would be fun if it was Bob.
A palindromic name.
Yeah.
I reckon Grossman would be into that. He'd be into his palindromes, I think.
Yeah.
Animation-wise, we got a bit of, we can see the lip syncing going on.
Yeah.
We can see the dialogue. He's going blah, 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 blah. And that kind of gives the impression that Guybrush is possibly retelling this a la LeChuck's Revenge.
Yeah, and is skipping over the boring bits.
Or maybe someone else is retelling it. Yeah. Maybe it's Morgan Le Fay.
Yeah, because we know she's going to be a massive part of this game. I noticed with the animation there were some frames where LeChuck had a big open mouth, the big tongue sticking out, which reminded me of some of the more cartoony animation frames in LeChuck's Revenge. as well.
Yeah, me too. Kind of with that big over the top speaking voice. Maybe,
Yeah.
spitting all over everyone.
Yeah, or like when Guybrush or Largo scream in LeChuck's Revenge, they get the big gigantic tongue sticking out, or when Frank's eyes pop out when he sees his legs been sawn off, all that stuff.
Yeah. You know who I want to see? That voodoo priest guy.
Yeah, bring him back. The one that they forgot existed in the Monkey Island 2 Special Edition commentary. You know when they're like, "Oh, who's that guy? Did they add him in for the special edition?" It's like, well, because he's literally in one scene. He didn't even make it into our list of obscure secondary characters. The guy who has one line, great design, one line in the whole game.
Design, one line. That's the title of that guy's autobiography.
Yeah.
We've got some rain going on. There's a cauldron.
Yeah.
You and I were talking about on Stranger Tides. The fact that Blackbeard uses voodoo to disable cannons.
There's all sorts of, in that book, as I understand it, there's all sorts of voodoo magic that does different things. And I'm wondering if it's not like the way it's presented in Monkey Island with, in the later games shooting green lightning out of stuff. It's seems like it's a little bit more mystical than that. And I was wondering if LeChuck wants the Monkey Island potion from Secret that takes you to Monkey Island brewed up in his cauldron, or if he's after something else.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. One thing that worries me is it's going to be that you have to mix different potions to go to different islands. Like, that's going to become a big thing.
Oh, I really hope not.
Yeah, I don't want that to be a thing.
Maybe if it was a one-off thing, but I reckon we've seen the zombie chef brewing up something. Looks like a soup. Looks like a cheesy soup or something. And I'm wondering... Yeah, maybe with a rat swimming in it. We're wondering if Guybrush is going to have to sabotage this guy's cooking in some capacity.
Yeah.
Ron did say something about a bug where Guybrush accidentally put a lamp or something in the soup bowl that he wasn't meant to, or something like that. So
maybe Guybrush could sabotage it so that they go to a different island.
Yeah, or maybe that's how they end up on Terror Island or Bermuda.
I guess we'll find out.
In Return to Monkey Island coming soon.
You know what else that's amusing is that everyone's sweating on the release date.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the release date, guys. It'll come out when it comes out.
Yeah.
Also, imagining what it'll be like, as we said last time, it's going to be better than the actual game. So don't worry.
Yeah. That's what we're going to do today.
Yeah. So shall we get into it?
Yeah.
All right. So, we came up with this idea, and we like to do this kind of stuff, where we were kind of projecting ourselves into a 1993 video game developers and thinking, what would it be like if there was actually Monkey Island 3 that came out directly after Monkey Island 2, as Monkey Island 2 came out directly after Monkey Island 1.
Yeah.
What would we do if we were given the license in order to keep it tonally, in essence, with Secret and Revenge?
Yeah.
But also original, and to come up with our own ideas. What could you do? What could you do? So we went away, and we've come back with some ideas to present to you all now.
Yeah.
Who wants to start? You should.
Well, I came up with, as you know, a whole scale of different ideas, from the incredibly unimaginative to the extremely unexpected, intended to annoy fans kind of idea. So the very first idea, or the simplest idea I had, was just that you do Guybrush fights LeChuck over Elaine again.
Well, that is kind of what happened.
Yeah, which is kind of what happened. Or my idea was you just make it that you give Guybrush a really simple goal. LeChuck stole all the grog in the caravan, and Guybrush has to go and get it back. It's basically the plot of Kirby's Dream Land.
Right. That is very piratey.
Yeah.
It's not particularly challenging.
No. Now,
would they have done that? Maybe.
I can see like some companies doing that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Companies that were cranking them out.
Yeah, that could be like a putt-putt story.
Imagine if there was a series from Sierra called Pirate Quest.
Well, how was there not?
I can see Pirate Quest 4 would have been about how, Captain So-and-so has to go and find all the grog that his evil nemesis, Swashbuckler Jones, has taken to his...
Pirate Quest 7, they'd go back in time and fight Vikings.
Yeah. Or it'd be an action-adventure game in really crude 90s 3D.
Ugh.
But more interestingly, I thought, okay, it has to be something nice and piratey. If you're taking it a bit more seriously than that, in Secret of Monkey Island, Guybrush kind of became a pirate when exploring and tried to rescue a fair lady, although it turns out that she didn't need his help. In Monkey Island 2, Guybrush went looking for treasure. I thought, what do pirates actually do in fiction besides look for treasure and raid towns and other ships so they can get money? You can't make a whole game out of Guybrush wants to go and raid other ships or something. Not a Monkey Island game. You can make Sid Meier's Pirates. Sure. Something out of that.
He's already a pirate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so
where do you go from there?
So I thought, what do you do? One idea, or I thought, what if we did the plot of Monkey Island 3 is Guybrush hunts a legendary sea monster, and
I like this.
The high concept is, without getting into any of the character stuff, is a Moby Dick parody.
Heavily inspired by Moby Dick.
Yeah. Call me Guybrush is how you could start it. Paraphrasing the famous opening of Moby Dick, Call Me Ishmael. And
this seems too real. I feel like this did happen.
Yeah. And maybe you have Guybrush starts off, he's down on his luck, living in some fishing village in a sort of Nantucket-esque kind of island, and it's been a long time since...
In a trailer.
Since he... Yeah. An actual... Yeah, that would be good. It's been a long time since, the whole Big Whoop thing. Nothing came of that. Maybe he goes, but I found Big Whoop. And people go, but wasn't Big Whoop just some stupid ticket in a box or something? And he's like, yeah, whatever.
Or I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah. And he goes, there's one thing I can do is if I hunt this legendary sea monster, like, Captain Ahab has this grudge against the white whale. Guybrush gets told, you have to, the only way you can fight a legendary sea monster is if you've got a great grudge against the sea monster, so he has to come up with some reason to hate this sea monster. And maybe the whole first part 1 is actually you coming up with some contrived reason, forcing this sea monster to attack you or something so that he can have a grudge against it. Part 1, the grudge. And then you go to some different islands. LeChuck can be involved. If you wanted to make this a little bit more like the conventional LeChuck antagonism, replace the sea monster with like LeChuck's back on his ghost ship, or something like that. But that's a bit boring. But maybe the sea monster was LeChuck's pet or something. I don't know, something stupid like that. I wouldn't want them to do that, but they're not doing that.
That would be a very Talesy thing to do.
Yeah, but you can have some different islands. Guybrush is going to find out where are the hunting grounds of the sea monster. Oh, yeah. Maybe he's got to find the sea charts or the navigational equipment, or I don't know. But in the end, of course, well, you don't want to rehash too much, but maybe he has to get the right equipment or something like that. Maybe some kind of funny puzzles around that. But of course, like Captain Ahab in Moby Dick, Guybrush isn't really... His real enemy isn't the sea monster. His real enemy is his own obsession. And it has to be like... Monkey Island 1 was about Guybrush's rise. Monkey Island 2 was about his fall. Monkey Island 3 has to be about his recovery, his redemption. How does he get past the crushing weight of his own ego and grow as a person?
That's very nice. I can kind of see a scene at the end when you get into the you sail into the mysterious kind of mating grounds or whatever, the swamps, and the ship passing through all the mist.
Yeah.
And Guybrush is looking out for the for the whale or the sea monster, the kraken, whatever it is. That's you could have some nice music there. Insert nice Michael Land music there.
Yeah,
I can see that. That would be very atmospheric.
Yeah, and I'm picturing a very like shabby Guybrush in this one. So
I'm thinking only a year or two after LeChuck's Revenge.
Yeah, but very unkempt kind of.
Long beard.
Yeah.
Thin.
Yeah, kind of like, with a real bedraggled, kind of threadbare clothes and stuff.
He could have the e-ticket in his inventory the whole time, and you never use it. Maybe you kind of pull it out from a chest under his bed.
And he can be like, "This is Big Whoop," and everyone's like, "Yeah, whatever, who cares?"
Yeah, show it to everyone.
Big Whoop was a load of rubbish. Who cares?
You know, in Fate of Atlantis, when you carry around that magazine the entire game, the Jastro expedition. It could be like that. It wouldn't necessarily have a meaning. Maybe Guybrush would throw it overboard at the end. That he'd let go. Past demons.
Yeah, I'd really want to kind of move on from the end of Monkey Island 2. To what extent would it be addressed? Maybe not at all.
Maybe not at all.
How would you work LeChuck in? I don't know. Would you even have Elaine? Not necessarily.
Well, that leads on to my version. So you come up with kind of a list of them. I've tried to finesse in my mind one grand idea, and my idea was... Okay, the game's called Monkey Island 3, The Return of Guybrush Threepwood. And in this game, it's kind of a direct sequel to LeChuck's Revenge, while still trying to present some original ideas in that rather than controlling Guybrush, who's disappeared, you control Elaine. And Elaine is on a quest to rescue Guybrush. Elaine doesn't like pirates, and she doesn't like what becoming a pirate did to Guybrush. I'm kind of imagining the beginning being... I mean, I don't like this, but I couldn't think of another way of doing it, of Elaine in the dinky tunnels at the beginning of the game that were at the end of LeChuck's Revenge, but it's all kind of an Elaine version of the dinky tunnels. So she sees I made a little screenshot of this, the remains of LeChuck's gloop on the floor. She thinks, what's happened here? Guybrush is in more trouble than I thought. You wander around, and perhaps instead of lost parents, we have the remains of her lost grandfather, Captain Marley. And then maybe there's been a cave-in. And that's where LeChuck and Guybrush have disappeared too. And maybe there's some kind of bollards covering the cave-in, kind of modern bollards. But maybe they don't make sense so much to Elaine. But she can see that they're of another time. They don't make sense.
Right, yeah. So she's a bit more of the pirate world.
Yeah, exactly. So she's more ingrained in the pirate world. And she wants to rescue Guybrush, and she thinks, that's where Guybrush must have gone. And she, in order to rescue Guybrush from Big Whoop or whatever it is, she needs to find another entrance. And my idea is that the other entrance is through the Monkey Head on Monkey Island. So ultimately she needs to get to the Monkey Head. When she gets to the Monkey Head, she goes down into hell. So this is just skipping to the end. And hell is kind of a different version for her. It's not necessarily mushrooms and people screaming out in the tunnels of meat. Maybe it's more to do with her life and her troubles and things. Or it's the same. But eventually she finds Guybrush. My idea is that at the end she finds Guybrush. Maybe he's either fine and he didn't need rescuing after all, or he's having kind of a bit of a breakdown somewhere. That would be the end. So my idea is to flesh out the rest of the game. So to make it an actual Monkey Island game, it needs to be piratey. So after that general introduction in the dinky tunnels, I wanted to have Elaine kind of set in an island somewhere, and the only island name I couldn't get out of my head was Chunder Island. Because the Monkey Island games have these silly names. Like Big Whoop that's a stupid name. Right? Like it's like, Big Whoop. Anyway, I'm placeholder Chunder Island.
Yeah.
Chunder Island, she doesn't. So her character arc is she doesn't like pirates. She has to get to Monkey Island, similar to how Guybrush does it. She doesn't like pirates, but she inadvertently completes the 3 trials during her journey, and perhaps realizes that pirates, or pirates as they are represented in the Monkey Island universe, aren't actually all that bad, and there's something that can be learned from that.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking she has to find treasure. Maybe she has to find. She has to dig up the key, say, to the monkey head. See, this is the thing. I wouldn't want it tied too far into the first 2 games. Like, I would want it to stand on its own as a game.
Yeah.
So I would need to flesh out these ideas. The idea is that she would do the treasure hunting. She would do the thievery. Maybe she have to steal something from the governor of Chunder Island or something. And she would have to, instead of maybe mastering sword fightery, she would have to master cannons on a ship, ship combat.
Yeah.
This is something that you and I discussed the other day about how would you do ship combat in an adventure game that wasn't just that arcade style that's presented in Curse. Yeah. Do you want to go into that?
So... the funny thing was, you were talking about having this ship combat element as some kind of puzzle, and it was interesting. I might post this in the link. We can put for this episode the links for this episode. Aric Wilmunder has posted on archive.org. Aric Wilmunder, one of the developers of Scum, bunch of. That was addressed to our audience. A bunch of
all 18 subs
design documents for the Monkey Island, a whole bunch of early LucasArts games, including Monkey Island. And in the original, Ron Gilbert's original idea for Mutiny on Monkey Island, ship combat and kind of gathering supplies from enemy ships was going to be part of it. And then Curse kind of reused that but it was just about sort of leveling up your cannons so that you could fight Rottingham. And... So you were saying there's this idea of like you have to use your ship to achieve a certain goal, and maybe it's about, rather than being like, can I steer the ship and fire the cannons at the right time and with the right angle and stuff, which is more like Sid Meier's Pirates, right? It's more about your crew. Yeah,
about motivating and selecting the right positions.
Yeah, get the right people in the right positions on the ship and motivating them appropriately. And we think about piratey tropes, and I was thinking about the captain striding up and down the ship, extolling his, or in this case, her men or women, as the case may be, the people, the crew of the ship, to fight well. And I was thinking of it's a much more recent example than the old Monkey Island games, but it's also not recent anymore in Master and Commander Far Side of the World, for example. Have you seen that?
So the Russell Crowe film?
Yeah,
but not for a long time.
Yeah, so there's like bits in that where they're fighting, I think, the French ship, and he's running up and down in the, decks, extolling the men to fight hard and stuff while they're loading the cannons and firing, reloading, and there's shrapnel flying everywhere and smoke and all this sort of stuff. Yep. So, and I was thinking you could have that kind of thing potentially. You got to pick the right things to say to cheer on and motivate your crew at certain points, and that's what wins you ship fights.
I had the idea of maybe combining that with you had a certain crew who all, say, you needed to have certain skills covered in order to fight certain pirates and win.
Yeah.
And maybe your crew all had 2 different skills each, and you needed to distribute them about the deck, but you could only, say you had a pool of 5 or 7 crew, but you could only distribute 3 about the deck for any one battle. That kind of thing. And I wouldn't want it to get too finicky and too kind of a real-time strategy. You still want it to kind of fit in the syntax of an adventure game like this, but that would be how you would perhaps do it, by combining all of those ideas, and actually commanding a crew in the ship battle,
Yeah.
in navigation, and so one of them's skilled at reloading quickly, firing, maintenance, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and you might have a sort of turn-based element to it to make that work potentially. But yeah, I think that would be a way to make the ship combat into an appropriate puzzle and less about just action gameplay, which doesn't tend to fit that well into this kind of game.
No, and often kind of can feel a bit clunky when it's kind of sledgehammered into these adventure games. My other idea for the flow of a puzzle like this would be that you would be able to give up. Say if you needed to get past 5 different pirates to get to the next island or something, you'd be able to give up at the third pirate or the second pirate or wherever you were and say, okay, let's go back to shore. Yeah. Because I want to solve a different puzzle. Yeah. This is too hard or it's too boring or I don't understand or I want to do something else. Yeah. So that was the beauty of the puzzle design on Melee Island in Secret, is that if you got stuck during one of the quests, you could go and do another one. Tell a different part of the story. Yeah. Oh, I was just thinking with that, you can definitely make... Yeah, I was just thinking of examples of games where that kind of thing has worked. You have to figure out what's the correct order to attack the enemies in so that you can defeat all of them. I was recently playing a quick little game called Mothman 1966 that had an element of that in it. Okay. But there was that FTL. FTL had a bit of that in it. That was very intense. Yeah, that was much more intense than I would want in this. But I think with Elaine, I was thinking because Ron Gilbert's talked about Elaine being playable more than once. I saw he said something about it on the Thimbleweed Park forums a while back before Return to Monkey Island, that project started as well. And he said that he'd thought about it as an idea for Monkey Island. And I think the thing about Elaine, right, is that she's really competent. Like, she wouldn't get held up by the same kinds of problems that hold up Guybrush. No, this would have to be designed around Elaine as a character. Yeah. So, like, you would interact with her differently. Yeah, you couldn't have the kind of puzzles that, you have in a traditional Guybrush game where it's him kind of sneaking around and cheating and lying to people and doing all this goofy stuff. It'd have to be a different style of puzzle. Yeah, that's the thing. And that would be the point of it being kind of the third part in which it was a bit different. Yeah. Because tonally, so LeChuck's Revenge is different to Secret. Yeah, very different. This would be different again. And so you want the same and you want different. Yeah. And that's kind of a hard thing to marry. Yeah. We did also discuss the idea of, and this is possibly getting too clever for our own good, but this is just a discussion. We're not actually developing these games. Maybe you begin. The first part is controlling Elaine. The second part is controlling Guybrush. Separate story. Yeah. And then perhaps they come together at the end. This is something that's done in the Ben Croshaw games. Yeah. To an extent. Yeah, some of those the Chizo mythos, like the last one of those, for example, right? Yeah, those 6 days? Sacrifice? Yeah. And there've been a few, like, obviously, Thimbleweed Park has a bit of that, although you're kind of all doing the same story. Well, going back to, you could control Henry Jones in Last Crusade, but I think I more mean that there's two disparate stories, or two separate stories that maybe come together at the end, but maybe not in a way you expect. Yeah, there are a few games I can think of, like a game I've not played that much of, but Heavy Rain, for example, was like a thriller detective type game where you played as about I think 4 different characters at different points in the story, and you kind of cycled between them, and each character had their own story that kind of they ended up interlinking. That's cool. And of course another example is Broken Age, right? Yes. Where you have 2 characters
who seem to be in separate worlds, but I think one world is inside the other world, right? If I recall correctly. I've not actually played that game.
I'm in the credits of that game.
Yeah, you backed that on.
Look me up.
Swept up in the hype.
I got the shirt, literally.
When Tim Schafer was like, woke up one morning and decided he wanted to make an adventure game.
And everybody loved it.
Let's launch a Kickstarter right now without a plan or anything.
That's why it was such a resounding success. My idea in conclusion for that, Monkey Island 3, The Return of Guybrush Threepwood, is perhaps at the end, Guybrush and Elaine their stories would intersect.
Yeah.
But their perception of one another would be different.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Elaine sees herself rescuing Guybrush while Guybrush sees it differently.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I think Guybrush can never actually escape.
But I think that's a nice idea that each of them gets a bit of perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's go with your motherload of an idea now.
So my original idea, actually no, I did come up with a Moby Dick thing first, but my idea that I kind of fixated on more was Monkey Island 3, Another World, because as we recall, the voodoo lady told Guybrush, Big Whoop isn't just a treasure, it contains the secret to another world. and we see Guybrush and LeChuck as kids at the end, and my idea for Monkey Island 3 is that it's set, say, 15 years after the end of Monkey Island 2, and little Guybrush and creepy brother Chucky are grown up now, and they're maybe in their 20s, early 20s maybe, early to mid 20s, and this is when we get super meta and disappearing into our own belly buttons is that Guybrush is a low-level programmer. He's Guybrush Threepwood, mighty computer programmer at some humorous parody of a video game company in the late 80s, early 90s, who does sort of odd job work on other people's projects and dreams that one day he'll get to make his own pirate adventure game inspired by the rides and the media that he loved as a kid and the games that he used to play with his mean brother Chucky. So
Guybrush is Bill Tiller.
Yeah. We want the secret being that Monkey Island world isn't real sucks. Why? Because we want the world of Monkey Island to be real. Yeah, and so I'm sort of imagining. I had a couple of ideas. One was you play this 100% straight. This is like Guybrush is now a completely different character.
Yep.
He's and Chucky, his brother, notorious software pirate, Chucky Threepwood.
I like that.
He is this kind of maybe like a whiz programmer with a with a bad attitude.
Yeah.
You know, he makes good games or something, or he's really good at troubleshooting, but
with their powers combined, maybe they'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Separately, they're no good.
But he rubs people the wrong way, and maybe he's still a bit of a creepy brother. Maybe he's got a bit of a creepy interest in Elaine. I'm imagining maybe she's like the hotshot like lawyer or something for the video game company. You know, part of the team. Someone who doesn't actually work on the games, but actually has some kind of really serious role, a bit like she was the governor from LA Island, and she's reminds Guybrush of the either someone they knew when they were kids, or maybe she's the same person, or maybe she's just reminds him of a character he imagined when he was a kid.
Thought he imagined.
Yeah, yeah. Ron did say on his blog at some point that he kind of imagined the dynamics once upon a time as like Guybrush was like an 8-year-old kid hanging out with two kind of 11-year-olds. He said there's that slight maturity difference between them. And so one idea was, this is almost like I can't think of a comparison from this era apart from like Police Quest or something kind of really like just modern day dealing with
like Leisure Suit Larry kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like Office Space, the adventure game kind of thing.
Yeah. So that was one idea I had, and it's about him getting to kind of either one. Yeah, that's a nice idea. Is he and Chucky have to reconcile their differences and work together, or the other idea is that he has to like screw over Chucky so that he gets to make his own game. But I'd like Guybrush to have that character growth.
Yeah, I do like this idea, like this very postmodern idea. Guybrush is going around, maybe he's always got a cup of coffee in his inventory.
Yeah.
You know, you're wandering around flirting with the receptionist.
Yeah.
Sitting at your computer all day.
Yeah, I got to fix some bugs in the latest build of, some pastiche of like Loom or Indiana Jones The Last Crusade or something like that. And I think of like Dolores in Thimbleweed Park going off to mucus phlegm games to work.
I guess it kind of reminds me a little of Zach McCracken.
Yeah, I was thinking of that. And
one thing, just as an aside, I want to ask you. So, are you saying that at the end of LeChuck's Revenge, they're in the modern world?
Yeah, like maybe like I was sort of imagining it in this that the ending of LeChuck's Revenge maybe happened in like the late 70s or something like that.
Right, okay.
or maybe earlier.
Is that your perception of the end of LeChuck's Revenge? Is that it's modern time?
Not necessarily.
I always thought it was meant to be like pirate time, but at a theme park.
Oh, really? I think it's ambiguous. I think it's intentionally ambiguous. I think it pretty much all comes from the way that Chucky is dressed, pretty much, because he's wearing like a t-shirt and shorts and a baseball cap.
But I guess the way that there are other anachronistic things, it doesn't necessarily. Anyway, that sort of derail your train of thought.
Yeah, the Zach McCracken thing is well observed, because I thought the alternative is you go for a more Zach McCracken kind of approach where you have like Office Guy Guybrush, but either the pirate world slowly reasserts itself.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I like that.
Or at the whole way through there is no barrier between the pirate world and the kind of this modern world. Like they've completely collided with each other. There are pirates just among kind of modern day people. Yeah. Maybe Guybrush steps out onto the street and goes down, and there's a harbour there with pirate ships in it, and you can see Guybrush is captaining a ship to go off and sail for treasure, but he's still wearing like his office clothes, and he's got his cup of coffee.
Yeah, like stuff. A child playing in the sandpit kind of thing.
Yeah, like almost like a guy's imagination wandering away with him, but it's sort of...
But it seems like these two worlds are just existing side by side.
Yeah, it's left...
They live style.
It's left 1,000% ambiguous. There is nothing to sort of... to say one way or the other was my idea, because I really love it when this stuff doesn't give you any answers.
Yeah, definitely David Lynch style.
Yeah,
I do like that idea.
In Inland Empire kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Watch that if you got a spare 4 hours. Okay, was that your last idea?
Yeah, pretty much. I think the idea, more generally, just the idea that you make the theme park possibly and the pirate world, or the modern world and the pirate world, indistinguishable from each other or completely interlinked as a general idea for Monkey Island. You could even make a more conventional Monkey Island 3, but just make the theme park stuff even more overt.
I guess they kind of did that, didn't they?
In Curse.
Yeah.
Or in Escape.
Both.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about Curse. Like, the theme park becomes a huge part of it at the end.
Yeah, I guess less like literally having a theme park and more like you play up the idea that the characters and the setting might be fake even more or more consistently throughout, but I don't know. It would really depend on what one was trying to actually do with the story.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You have to go into these things with a story to tell.
Yeah.
And that's what I kind of where I was trying to come up with something for Elaine to actually have a plot, not just to be trying to rescue a man.
Yeah, and that was the thing with my like Moby Dick idea, was that I was like, this has to be about Guybrush dealing with the arrogance and pride that was his downfall in the second game.
I like the idea of combining the Moby Dick idea with my idea.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that would work.
Yeah, I think so.
Guybrush
Maybe they'd both end up
yeah.
in the belly of the Leviathan.
Yeah. And they meet 3 frat dudes
And
playing
Murray.
the bongos. Yeah.
Aloha. Yeah, good ideas.
Yeah, those are just some fun ideas.
That is fun.
For if there was a Monkey Island 3 back then.
But of course we got Monkey Island 3 and it's still good. And we're not trying to say that Curse isn't good and that we would overrule that. It's just what if.
Yeah, these are just random ideas. For me, the whole kind of go even further with the theme park mixed with the real world thing has been the one that I've always thought of as being the logical next step. But I think we got Curse, which is great. We could have had Guybrush chases LeChuck to hell, whatever that would have involved.
Yeah, that's a very small idea.
Yeah.
There's not much else to it. Remember, there was going to be Ghostbusters 3 for ages, and that was going to be the Ghostbusters Go to Hell. I feel like it's a very cliched kind of general thing to work on.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if I still think we're gonna get something about the monkey head, and in return, I think we're gonna get something about hell underneath the monkey head, and I think it's gonna turn out that the tunnels under the monkey head have something potentially to do with Big Whoop, maybe like the idea that like maybe Big Whoop linked to one world, maybe the hell tunnels under Monkey Island are another world. There's like various, I don't know. Maybe not.
It's going to be something mysterious. I just hope we're not given too much. We're not given like a really conclusive ending.
I don't think we need too many answers. I would be happy with the idea that Monkey Island 2's ending and the tunnels under the monkey head are just connected in the sense that they're both weird things in the Monkey Island world.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Ron is a fan of Twin Peaks. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I have faith to an extent.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So, what are your ideas, listeners? As of recording, we're up to 18 subscribers. How good's that?
Yeah, and only 2 of them are us. So
only 2. Well, I've got about 16 accounts. So.
So tell us in the comments what maybe if you played these games back before Curse came out, what did you imagine? With what we know now, what do you imagine? And I know that when I was a kid, I found the drawings the other day for my The Secret of Monkey Island 3.
We're going to have to post those, I think.
which I doodled sometime in, I think, 1996 or possibly 1997 before I knew that Curse was coming out.
Very cool. I also found my entirely handwritten walkthrough for The Secret of Monkey Island because I didn't believe that there was a walkthrough because I didn't have the internet.
Yeah. So what were you thinking was the next step or something to be done with Monkey Island back in 19 92 or 3 or 4.
Get creative. We want to hear. We want to hear your spooky ideas. Or the boring ones.
Yeah.
Don't keep them to yourself.
LeChuck stole all the grog. What? Can't get a drink out of this damn vending machine. LeChuck stole all the grog.
What do you mean? All right, we don't even have to do the Buccaneer today.
No, because we're going to do Enter the Manatee.
Yes, so tune in next time.
And find out what was wrong with your last dive. It sucked.
And also find out what was wrong with that puzzle. It sucked. All right, is that it?
Yep.
Good hustle. All right. Peace out, hombres. Thank you for listening to Rubber Chicken with a podcast in the middle. I, as ever, am Gordon, and you are
Alistair.
And
look behind you, a 3-headed monkey.